want to call to order the Madison County Board of Education for March the 9th. When you come in the door, there are some agendas. If you wish to speak to the board about anything on the agenda, we ask that you fill out the back of it and hand it to Ms. Wilson over here on the left. Next, I'll have Ms. Cobb read our vision.
Sure. Madison County Schools, in partnership with the community, strives to equip educators and students with the skills to lead by example, develop and speak with a unique voice, and explore their academic curiosity to make a positive impact on our community and world.
Thank you. Before we get started tonight, I want to start the meeting by saying we, the board, cannot say enough thank yous to the Richmond Police Department and all of our school and district staff who were involved in handling the threat situation this morning at Glen Marshall Elementary. Our district, our schools, our community all work really, really hard to ensure the safety of all of our schools each and every day. It is such a comfort to know that when things do happen, we have the systems and the people in place to handle situations quickly and effectively. Next, we'll move on to our showcase.
All right. Our showcase tonight is a group of Shannon Johnson Elementary fifth graders. They've been working this year very hard on creating a school news show called Hawk Talk. The episodes include important school information, important dates, school happenings, lunch menus, and even some jokes. This short presentation will highlight their process of planning, filming, editing, and completing the news show, and the painting they created for the backdrop. We will begin by watching one of Shannon Johnson's Hawk Talk episodes.
Oh, Mom, what a cute cat. Although I wish I knew what was going on at school. I always miss so much. Hi. Oh, hi. It's great that you mentioned that. We're starting this new thing called Hawk Talk that tells you about upcoming events and tips and tricks. Oh, it's so great because I always forget what's going on, and it's so annoying. Yeah, a lot of kids do. That's why we're starting it. Yay! All right. Bye. Bye. It's a cute cat. Hello, family. My name is Madison. My name is Addie. Welcome to the Hawk Talk News Show for Shannon Johnson Elementary. We hope you enjoy the show. Now we will talk about AGAM, which you need to bring almost every single day of school. It stands for Attendance, Attitude, and Academics. So yay! Bye! Wait, what does that sound like? I know what that sounds like. What? It's the Hawk Day dance party. To get to the Hawk Day dance party, you need your Hawk Bucks. Some other things you can get with your Hawk Bucks are popcorn, cotton candy, and toys. You can also get regular candy like these. But how do you even use these so-called Hawk Bucks? Well, you get Hawk Bucks by having good attendance, good behavior, and no unexcused absences. So just, keep working hard in school and stuff too. You're probably wondering, when is Hawk Day? Well, Hawk Day is every semester, which means every 9 weeks, so make sure you're not absent. Bye. You guys want to go have some fun? Yeah. Bye. Bye. Hey, Hawks. Let's talk about watchdogs. You may have seen a dad, uncle, or grandpa in the halls this year. During the day, these men will wear a t-shirt with the official watchdog logo that you see right here. These men will assist at lunch, recess, study hall, and social times. If you see a watchdog in the hallway, make sure to thank them for helping SJE. This has been Rhea, and I'm Hayden. Thank you for joining us. Hi, I'm Bo, and this is Jackson. Let's talk about STLP. It stands for Student Technology Leadership Program. STLP is the way students become leaders by using tech tools to help others. Here at SJE, we want to become empowered learners and good digital citizens. Do you love to use technology tools to make cool products? Maybe you like creating games on Scratch at home, or you like using digital art tools found in the library Google Classroom. If you made it using technology changes, or it would be a great product to enter in the competition. Alright, this is all for today, guys, and this is your STLP segment. Bye! Hey, y'all, so let's talk about our Veterans Day program. These are a few images from our program. At the program, a few songs played were the Armed Forces Anthem, National Anthem, and a song called Taps. There was also a song sung by the graders. We had 12 people in front, 10 speakers, and 2 participants. It was a great day to remember the men and women who fought for our country. This has been Rand and Becca for the Hawk Talk. Have a great day. Hello, welcome to Hawk Talk jokes. Not Mark. Who's there? Broken pencil. Mark pencil here. Never mind. It's pointless. Where's the best place to grow flowers in school? We're at kindergarten. What's up, guys? We're going to be talking about Hawk Talk jokes. Alright, what did the cat do to get arrested, AJ? I don't know what. I have a really idea. What? What do you call a cow in front of what? Alright, that's gonna be the end of the video, y'all. It's been Hayden. It's been AJ. It's been Bear. We're out. Peace! Hi, I'm Mackenzie Boone. We hope you like every little bit of this new edition of Hawk Talk. Don't forget to bring your A game, which means attitude, academics, and attendance. Don't forget to be hardworking. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys, and have a good day.
I'm Mackenzie, and I created the background for this presentation. We hope you enjoy learning about our show.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. What is Hawk Talk, you may ask? Hawk Talk is our school news show. It's made up of a lot of different segments. It is planned, practiced, and published by our 5th grade Hawks. We love working on it. Students have worked very hard and even work on their own time at home.
Hi, I'm Sam Lewis. I'm Riley Miller. We're here to tell you the purpose of our SJ News Show.
The purpose is to give students a good start to the day, talk about behaviors, tell about the events that are coming up in our school, and give people a taste of it.
Hi, I'm Peyton Hudson, and I'm going to talk about our organization and planning for the news show. Every time we make a Hawk Talk news show, we always make sure that we get in as many people as possible. We use tech available to us in our program to produce segments. All work is done in the library class with Ms. Congleton. Students sign up on Google Forms and look for their name in the segment assignment section on Google Classroom as well. The goal is to get everyone in that wants to do something. Here are some of the digital tools we use. We use Google Drive to save and share projects, Google Classroom to organize our scripts and programs, Flip to record our segments and video, Adobe Creative Cloud to create images and backgrounds, Google Docs and Forms, which we used for scripts and sign-ups. Hi, I'm Ray, and I'm going to talk about the segments in the news show. Every segment idea was voted on by students. That's how the segments were chosen. Students thought about information that would help our school. We worked on it together. For example, one segment we chose was about our school's Veterans Day program. We made it to educate students about why we have this program every year. Another segment was our joke segment to make students laugh and uplift those who might be having a bad day. Segments were posted on Google Classrooms so students could sign up for the ones that they wanted to be in.
A few segments included in Hawk Talk were jokes, watchdogs, Veterans Day, and Hawk Day. We are also doing a teacher appreciation, but it's a secret.
Hi, I'm Ella. Our Hawk Talk logo is based on my design and gives us a more personalized backdrop. I created the logo used for Hawk Talk using the Adobe Creative Cloud digital art program. We also painted this backdrop in art class with the story to give us something more permanent. This was a fun hands-on activity. Thank you, Ms. Story. Hello everyone, I am Louise. Today I'll be giving you many reasons why Hawk Talk has helped us as spectators. Hawk Talk has boosted many kids' confidence while talking to other kids through a device. Everyone feels involved, and 43 different 5th graders have been featured in our episodes. Hawk Talk has also helped kids learn how to use many new digital tools. Hawk Talk is amazing, and we will continue to learn new things to add to new episodes of Hawk.
Hi, I'm Becca. Behind us is the painting of the design and mentioned. First, the story traced the image. Second, everyone involved in the first Hawk Talk episode painted the logo. Third, the story played the forms. I hope you like I hope you like the pencil and the story and the students work on.
Thank you, and please give extra thanks to Mackenzie, Kimber, Zane, Raylan, Caitlin, Heidi, Rhea, Ella, Lily, Becca, AJ, Griffin, Bo, Ray, Miss Story, and our teacher, Miss Congleton, for helping with this presentation.
Great job.
All right, great job. Thank you,
Way to go,
Shannon Johnson Elementary. And I do wonder, how many Hawk Bucks does Mr. Shockley have?
Good question.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Nice job. It's really cool. I love it.
Next, we'll move on to number 5, which is our consent agenda. These are items that the board sees regularly and we are very familiar with. We are usually given them the week beforehand and have time to review them and ask any questions. Items to be approved on the consent agenda are the minutes of the February 9th, 2023 regular meeting, claims, the record of superintendent's personnel actions, the leave of absences, technology surplus, the following out-of-state field trips: the Madison Southern High School FFA trip to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on May 1st through the 5th of 2023, the Boonesboro Elementary School archery trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on June 8th through the 11th, 2023, the Madison Central High School track trip to Raleigh, North Carolina on March 23rd through the 25th, 2023, review school activity fund reports, and shortened school day applications. Are there any questions or any of these items need to be pulled out to be discussed? No? If not, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have our monthly reports. The first one is our instruction report. And tonight we have Donnie Hunley, the principal at Foley Middle School, and Shay Hazelwood, principal at B. Michael Cottle Middle School, to present the middle school report.
Looks like AJ's in there too.
AJ and Trent Sigmund, their assistant principals are joining.
Oh, along with your,
We didn't know they were coming.
okay. Along with your assistant principals.
Their assistants, so we've got friends.
Oh,
We'll let them introduce themselves to you before we start.
Donnie Hunley, principal at Foley.
Trent Singleton, assistant principal at Foley.
AJ Chandler, assistant at Cottle.
So while we're sharing specifically things that are happening at our school, we also represent our 5 middle schools, and so the things that we will talk about are also at work in our middle schools as well. So we thought we would talk about levels of prevention that we're working on. So removing obstacles so that all of our students are successful. And we thought we would talk about 3 essential components: emotional learning, supporting behavior, and last, we're just academic achievement.
First of all, we'll talk a little bit about our social emotional learning. Both at Cottle and at Foley, we utilize our RTI time to impact students in this way. At Foley, that stands for What I Need, and at Cottle, that's during their Spartan Academy. During this time, students come in, work with their teachers on a curriculum that is provided by the district. We also bring in student mentoring programs through our Youth Service Center and partnerships like Berea Baptist Health and Y-Tri programs at Foley. And then we use focused assemblies such as True Lives with Officer Hale coming in and talking about drug prevention, violence prevention in our schools.
I get to talk about our warrior report system that we have at Foley. We talked earlier, every school has kind of their own way of dealing with behaviors. Ours is a system called warrior reports, and that's when a student gets those little things that happen in class that are just disruptive or disrespectful. They're not always sent to the principal's office for those things, but it's kind of a 3-strike approach to that. There's a Google form created, the teacher goes in, puts their name in there, the behavior. It comes to us in a Google form. We monitor that daily. We discuss it, we discuss consequences, different things like that. When they get 3 of those warrior reports, they come and conference with us then we go from there. That's how that kind of works. What we've done here recently, we constantly are looking to review that system, always trying to make it better, as in everything in education. But we're looking at ways to make it better. One thing we found is when students get 2 Warrior reports now, we auto-generate them an email that says, hey, you've got 2 Warrior reports. Just FYI, you know. So that allows them to know maybe I should chill out just a little bit, whatever I'm doing, maybe I should change my behaviors. And we've seen a great uptick in that. So we take that data, we look at it in our monthly meetings, our PBIS meetings, and we look at how we can better support our students there. On the flip side of that, we have also implemented positive Warrior reports. So if a student does something that's really good, they're helping a friend out, they're doing something for the betterment of the school, then a teacher can fill out a positive Warrior report on them as well, and then our committee will come together with a good reward for them for that. So, thank you.
And to add to the behavioral aspect, I think our administrators within the district do a great job of collaborating on certain things. Over the summer, Mr. Hundley, Mr. Riley at Madison Middle and I got together and we went through some interventions and such that we actually worked together on. And that way, if one student becomes transient to another school, they're already acclimated to those systems. They understand the expectations and such, so it makes for a smoother transition. One other thing that we're doing within our behavioral aspects are our equity playbook. And this is something that's been spearheaded by Mr. Ray and Ms. Angie Wilcox. This is something for our marginalized students. And post-pandemic, we know that these students already have big obstacles to face anyway, and after the pandemic, those gaps have really widened. So this is a means of support that the district's provided us that we can actually help and influence those students.
So, social emotional learning and behavior, which you probably see the most variation, at least between our 2 schools, and I would envision the other middle schools as well, just because each school has a different demographic, different values and things of that nature. So the last would be academic achievement. There's probably more uniformity here. I thought I would mention 3 things specifically, and then touch on a resource, sort of a token of gratitude to the board for purchasing the resource for us. First one would be just tiered instruction, varying instruction so that we address individual needs of our students. Our instructional coaches, again, another token of gratitude to our board for that. These have been instrumental, at least in our middle schools for certain, other schools as well. They lead improvement cycles. They help our teachers with mentoring, coaching, and I know at our school, and I think it's the same would be the case for our other 4 middle schools, they model instruction. So they may go to Ms. Garrison's classroom and teach a lesson and model a specific strategy there. They head up and lead our implementation teams in our schools, and they enrich and help lead our professional learning communities. Well, just our planning time where our teachers are looking at what our students specifically need. I won't say anything more regarding the initiative with Equity Playbook than Mr. Chandler has said, but it also is impacting instruction as well, insofar as we're creating those equitable opportunities for every single student. The last in the resource would be Edulastic, and we've actually been using this resource at our school for, since last year. We were looking for an assessment platform that would help us do a lot of things, common assessment framework, provide opportunities for our teachers to learn about assessment as they evaluate and analyze the student data, improvement cycles, etc. But practically, it helps prepare our students for those assessments where they have to manipulate lots of thingies. And you all are probably like me, we grew up bubbling in answers. And even when I first started teaching, they were bubbling in answers. And then I think when they introduced technology, they were clicking buttons. But now you have to click between tabs and move this and move that. So I think technically those assessments are designed to test critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills, but that does become an instrumental platform for us as we prepare our students for those assessments. So that's what's happening at our schools specifically, but if you visit any of our 5 middle schools, I think you will see those components reflected in practice.
It makes me very happy to hear about the collaboration because I think people don't realize how many of our students, it might be that, they're just moving to a different apartment, but it might mean they're at a different school. And I think it's invaluable for the students to have that consistency in order to be successful. In addition, it has to make the parents' life a lot easier as well. But most importantly, the consistency for the students is huge. So I really appreciate your all's collaboration on all those avenues. It's really great to hear.
We agree. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
being here.
Thank you all for coming. That's wonderful knowledge.
Next, we have our construction report presented by Mr. Tony Thomas with Klopp-Feltner Samacar.
Tony has a box.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you all at the conference the other day.
Yeah.
Someone suggested that we were passing out gifts and that I bring the boards.
I thought you were bringing us samples or something.
It says I love Kentucky schools.
Oh, how cute.
More importantly, there's candy.
There you go.
Well, thank you.
There's
That is-
food too, so.
That is very nice.
So we'll start at the central and southern dugouts. Hey, they're using them now.
Yay.
Mostly cleaned up and doors opening and closing and locking and storage.
Looks
So
nice.
here's the baseball dugout, and you can see the benches in there. So I just showed up one day, and there's nice benches there. So, oh, Dr. Gillen, do you know who made those, or? Oh, okay. Maybe he did. So here's a picture of the storage inside. So, like I said, already using, put the gators in there, being able to lock it up, and Madison County ran all the electrical and lights. Here's the third base dugout, again, very similar, and nice benches have been put in place. So the rails and the benches were not in the contract, so Madison County took care of those items. But there's been a lot of scraping of the dirt and cleaning it up.
Looks nice.
So now we're over at the softball at Southern. It's a large storage room, and there's just another view of that. So now we're at Central, looking at the home dugout there. Actually looks like a picture that's a few days old, but I must have gone from, somehow I mixed up a picture here. We've jumped.
You had a couple of southern pictures in there real quick.
okay.
Yeah.
And this is the softball at Central, where they've come in and built some cubbies at the end there, and the nice benches. There's the interior, again, where you can see that they're already using those for storage. So those buildings are being used now, pretty much.
That's nice.
finished. I mean, they just have some detail items to finish up, but at least they're all in use now, both campuses. If we go to the, I'm sorry, any questions on the dugout and storage?
They look great.
Madison Southern Activities, you can see they've got the building about 60% up. Just another picture from the other end, right beside the other area there. So you can see there's plumbing and restrooms in that facility so that the people over in the baseball and softball can access those restrooms when this building's complete. Boy, they've been struggling. We've had 2 or 3 big wind episodes, and in the middle of putting up a building like that, it's not a good thing. You can see there's a lot of cables in there, so they held them in place.
Well, do we have completion dates for those yet?
Well, I asked them, and they thought they were about a month away. This portion is actually outside of the original contract, but I'm just kind of keeping up with it and showing you what is going on. But I think, I talked to a guy today, and he said they thought it was about a month away from having the end walls in. Now, there'll be some interior walls and fit up, and I don't know where that stands right now.
Okay.
Grandstands for Southern. I showed you these last time, but they actually had put the aisle in the wrong place, which is no big deal. They were able to reassemble it and put the aisle back in the middle. But they look really good, and the colored risers, and here's a view from the top. You can see watching home plate there. So that project, they've got a couple of little punch list items too, but other than that, it looks great, view's great. So that is it, actually, for the construction report tonight, unless there's any questions on anything.
That's great.
Looks good.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Remember your cup.
Next is our finance report, presented by Mark Woods, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening.
Hello, how are you doing?
How are you? We'll start with our reconciliation. As of February 28th, the district ended with a reconciled balance of $81,957,729.31. You can see it's down compared to this time. It's all of our construction projects, moving the funds around for that, spending the funds out, completions, getting those things done, wrapping all that up. So it's expected to be down because we do, where we bonded, we did have that money up front. You get that money in from the bond and then you spend it out to build. So that is to be expected. Of the reconciled balance, the district has $20,240,990.65 in investments. Those rates for that, our two local CDs are at 2%, and then we do have treasury bills at 3, 6, and 9 months, and those range from 4.05 to 4.4. And we do have some that are scheduled to mature. Our 3-month is scheduled to mature actually today. So I have talked to them where cash flow wise, we're okay to put those on another 3 months because our expenditures start hitting, our big expenditures will start hitting in another 3 months. So I did go ahead and reinvest those, and that's actually at a 4.5 rate. So we're actually going to get a 0.5% higher on those. We're doing really well on investments right now and maintaining that. So we're hitting that in stride, which is good because over the past few years it's been really, really down. Also in your packet you had a balance sheet and a revenue and expense report for the end of February, and I've looked through those, looked through the expenditures. We're tracking fine, we're right where we're supposed to be. Our tax collections are where they're supposed to be at this time, very comparable to historically where we've been, so we're doing really well on all of that. Any questions?
No questions. If not, then, if I can get a motion to approve the monthly financial reports as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is item 7B, to create and ratify a full-time preschool paraeducator at Kirksville. Give me a second. Any questions? If not, can I get a motion to create and ratify a full-time preschool paraeducator position for Kirksville Elementary School?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 7C, to adopt a resolution supporting the Council for Better Education. I can speak of it.
I'd be glad to.
You go ahead. and then I
Okay,
can-
so Council for Better Education is a group, it's a consortium of folk from districts across the state. We're able to join this effort. Whenever there are issues relating to public education that we feel we need to take a stand on, this is the group that comes together to take the actions necessary. In this case, we're referring specifically to the unconstitutionality of last year's House Bill 9, which provides public school dollars going to private schools. So this would be to join that, the Council for Better Education, and then they will pursue necessary steps to legally challenge this bill.
Any questions? So if not, if I can get a motion to adopt the following resolution, it is hereby resolved that the Madison County Board of Education authorizes Superintendent David Gillum to take all necessary steps to support the Council for Better Education in its legal challenge to the unconstitutionality of House Bill 9 and the payment of any appropriate dues or assessments related to this school district's membership in CBE or its support of the referenced legal challenge.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next, we'll have Mr. Shane Lakes to talk about bus purchases.
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
Normally, I come to the June meeting to do bus purchases, but people in the know have advised us it would probably be wise to do it a little earlier this year due to the possibility of prices of the buses going up. and supply chain issues and things of that nature that could cause this price to be higher in a couple months. So that's why I'm here. So again, this year, I'm asking for a purchase of 10 new buses. We would like to order 4 84-passenger Thomas rear-engine buses. All of these buses would have an undercarriage and tinted windows. The price of one bus is $153,465. The price of 4 would be $613,860. I'd like to also ask for 4 72-passenger conventional buses. These buses would have tinted windows, no undercarriage, because we don't send those on field trips very often. We usually send our bigger buses. And that saves us some money. The price of one bus is $114,719 each. 4 of those would be $458,876. Finally, I'd like to purchase 2 Thomas special needs buses. Both buses would have air conditioning for IEPs. A lot of IEPs now have air conditioning as something we have to do, so we always air condition our special needs buses. Tinted windows and a wheelchair lift on both. The price of those buses are $141,178 each. Price of 2, $282,356. So the total price for all 10 buses would be $1,355,092. And 10 buses buses are supposed to last 14 years. And we have some that last longer than that, some don't quite make it that long. But this is to keep us continue rolling through, so that makes sense.
Mr. Lakes, you will do the security cameras and all that once we get the buses in,
Absolutely.
correct?
And we order those separately, and we install them ourselves, our mechanics put them on. We actually get a different brand of camera than what the Thomas likes to put on there. We just simply like them better, so we put them on ourselves. But yes, every bus will have cameras on. And that has been wonderful. They really help.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is with the size of our county, that our buses, and correct me if I'm wrong, average daily mileage, 10,000? 10,000 miles every single day on our fleet. And we plan every year for these bus purchases to keep our fleet up to date in order to keep our students safe. So it's not a surprise that we're being asked to buy 10 buses. We plan accordingly, and 10,000 miles every single day is a whole lot of miles.
And a lot of people ask, there's 3 major bus companies. I buy Thomas every year for 2 reasons. One reason is they are the only company that makes 84-passenger buses. And I have a lot of drivers, and we've not always bought Thomas. And so we have several of what you all would consider snub-nose buses, rear-engine buses, that are 78-passenger buses. Thomas buses have 2 extra seats in them. And I have a lot of drivers every year come to me and say, hey, I need a bigger bus. And they're driving a 78. Well, 2 seats, that's in elementary, it's 6 kids or 5 kids. And high school, it's usually just 2 each, so 4 extra kids. A lot of times that meets that need and keeps us from having to make an extra route, which we really don't have a driver to do. So getting the larger buses helps us. And so that's why, one of the reasons we use Thomas. Thomas makes all 3 companies make a fine bus. But Thomas has that advantage that we try to take advantage of because our county is growing so much.
Any other questions?
And we budget for this every year.
Every year. So, if not, then if I can get a motion to approve the purchase of 4 84-passenger buses, 4 72-passenger buses, and 2 special need buses, and a wheelchair lift for a total of $1,355,092 from Thomas Buses.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Who's second? By Ms. Coyle. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Before I step away, I would like to thank you all and Dr. Gillum. We are in a tough situation driver-wise, but you all are very supportive, and I do appreciate all the help you've given us, because you all make an impossible situation a lot better. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've made a
We
lot of
appreciate
changes
you
here in the
guys.
last year, yes,
Yeah,
to make
made a
it
lot of-
better for our bus drivers, so.
It's going as well as it could, so.
Keep giving
We
us
appreciate it.
ideas if
Thank
there's
you.
anything more we can help with.
I appreciate it, we'll do it.
Next is item 7E, to approve the Lynn Imaging PO. Lynn Imaging is an online plan room and construction information management e-com service that will give access to workflows and communication, documents and tracking, and closeouts. So it's imperative with our new projects where we are utilizing construction management to have this e-com system so that all the parties involved can access what's going on. And there's a level of accountability there and communication that's going to be invaluable during these new processes for these construction projects. So, is there any questions about this?
I believe this was in our budget for our construction too, wasn't it?
Yes,
It
we
was.
always plan for this. Yep.
If not,
I
if
can't
can get a
imagine
motion.
not having it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
If I can get a motion then to approve the Lynn Imaging purchase order for Madison Middle School construction project for online planning and distribution services and e-com and closeout services in the amount of $50,000.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have Mr. Ben Burnett, our Director of IT, who's going to talk about the next few items.
Yes, so, actually I have 4 tonight.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
an
let's-
overachiever.
We'll start out with replacement of network equipment.
Yes, ma'am. So, what that is, we every year apply for grants for our, through the FCC. It's federal funding that allows us to implement, maintain, expand high-speed wireless in the county. It's called our E-rate program. Our E-rate program does not only our schools, but it also allows public libraries to apply for funding as well. Well, outside of that, we have just a few non-instructional sites that we can't maintain through E-rate. And so this PO would be to upgrade our network infrastructure and our wireless at all of our non-instructional sites. So we're talking our central office building, our tech office, maintenance, and transportation. So that PO comes in at $189,900. And it is for the switches, the wireless, and for some professional services to help us get that installed and managed the right way. So,
And this will be paid with our KETS funds.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so we've been saving our KETS budget over time to make sure we have enough for that purchase.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion to approve the purchase of software, hardware, and installation of network equipment at our non-instructional sites through Coverage One in the amount of $189,905.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next is to approve the Madison Middle School Chromebook purchases.
Yes, ma'am. And so Madison Middle, just to refresh their fleet and keep all of their devices active, they are requesting to purchase 120 Chromebooks. Those will be Dell 3110s. We got a great deal with Dell where they are going to include the management license for those. And so at this time, we ask for an approval of $30,960 for 120 Chromebooks for Madison.
Any questions?
Just point out that the school funds is what's paying for this, not the general funds.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I should include that, yes.
Anything else? If I can get a motion then to approve the purchase of 120 Chromebooks for Madison Middle School from Dell for $258 each for a total of $30,960 using their school funds.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is to approve Whitehall Chromebook purchases.
So same thing there. They are requesting a purchase of 165 Chromebooks. Now with this one, they are purchasing out of 2 funds. They're purchasing with their school funds and a KETS match. And so what we do each year is we get an allotment from the state, and then we divvy up so much of that per school so that schools can do their own purchases for school priorities with their technology. And so they can purchase software devices, and for this purchase, they're going to use $10,000, which is their KETS allotment that they match, and then they add some funds on top of it. And so that purchase, again, 165 Chromebooks, that would be $42,570, with $10,000 of that coming from KETS, the rest coming from school funds.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion then to approve the purchase of 165 Chromebooks for Whitehall Elementary School from Dell for $258 each for a total amount of $42,570 using Title I and KITS funds.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I think the last one, is to approve E-rate 470 bid acceptance.
Yes, and so I'd already talked a little bit about our E-rate program. Again, that is just a federal program applied for through the FCC for networking equipment. In this case, these are actually our largest POs, but the nice thing about it is these are our smallest, or some of our smallest POs as far as the district purchasing is concerned. And so what happens is we pay 20% of the cost, the FCC pays the other 80%. And it is broken up into two different categories. We have category 1. What that does is that is anything that it takes to light fiber across our district. And so with that, we have our pipeline that comes in from KDE, that's all of our internet, all of that kind of stuff. And then out of that goes into our tech office. From there, it goes to Daniel Boone, Madison Central. And we have another circuit that we light, not off of our tech office, but off of Ferristown. And so we can use those category 1 funds to light those circuits. It also allows us to do a little cost allocation work. And so we can also purchase a replacement router. Our router is going on, let's see, we put it in right as I began network admin, so that would have been about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. And yeah, I'm an old hat now, I love it. But our router is getting to the point now where we want to be proactive and make sure that we get it replaced before we have any issues. And so that category 1 purchase will allow us to do that, along with do what's called routing at the edge, where we will replace some of the things that it takes to light that dark fiber. So that is the first quote that you all have. That's our category 1 quote. The total on that one is $212,957.64. Of which the district will pay $42,591.53. So we love our discount.
Nice discount.
Before I go on, that one's a pretty large purchase. Are there any questions with that, routing and all that kind of stuff? I know that's a bunch of nerdy talk for guys like me. All right, so next quote that you'll have there is, it's category 2. Category 2 is designed primarily to do whatever you can't light your circuit or take your internet connection in with. So it's our standard network switches or wireless. It's designed to do all of those things. This year, it is going to be primarily used for 15 of our routing at the edge switches that we have for our other schools. They are schools that they aren't lighting dark fiber. Which means it's not a connection between, for instance, the tech office and central. It has to go through Spectrum. And so because of that, we can't use category 1 funds, we have to use category 2. And so with that one, the total funds is $220,072.40. And our district portion of that is $44,014.48. So altogether, you're looking at a total of about $80,000 district cost, a little over that. Which will be paid for out of KETS funds and some other things. So that is our request.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion then to approve the E-rate 470 bid acceptance.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Making me sweat over there.
I thought she was going to do it.
So next is item 7J, to approve Pivotal Health Solutions PO. Do you want to?
I'll be glad to. Mr. Thomas showed us the dugouts a few minutes ago. Each of those dugouts at baseball, softball, at both of our high schools. So there are 4 additional rooms that are attached onto the dugouts that are storage rooms, and we're going to be able to put some lockers in there for players to be able to store their stuff so they can change in there and that kind of thing without without having to, change in their cars, I guess. So for them to be able to store their equipment, we're looking at 48 lockers for Madison Southern, 48 lockers for Madison Central. These will be identical at both schools and equal at both baseball and softball at each school. The total amount of that we priced out. We got bids from multiple companies on that, and the total cost is $61,100, and those would be paid for by what's referred to as the school's district activity funds. They have some school activity funds that they keep at the district level. It is school funds. They have discretion over that. But the board, in this case, we're talking about a purchase order that exceeds $30,000, so it would require board approval. So, any questions?
If not, then if I could get a motion to approve the Pivotal Health Solutions purchase order to purchase 48 lockers at Madison Southern High School and 48 lockers at Madison Central High School in the amount of $61,100.
I'll make the motion.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 7K, to approve the purchase for turf replacement at Madison Central High School. We do this how often?
Well, when we initially put the turf in, we were planning on 10 years. We were able to get 11 seasons out of this turf. We got 11 seasons out of the turf at Madison Southern that we replaced last year. So, and during that time, over the course of those years, we put a little money back each year, expecting to be able to, to have to replace this. So, so we do have the funds set aside. It is reserved funds for this purpose. This purpose, as well as the light replacement that we did last time. So
We're just doing the same thing at Central we did.
same thing at Central that we did at Southern last year, because Southern's turf was put in 1 year prior to Madison Central's.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion to approve the purchase of artificial turf to replace the turf at Madison Central High School in the amount of $549,723.05 from Vesio Sports Fields.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 7L, to approve the revised school calendar. Mr. Muntz, our Director of District-Wide Services, will be here to talk about that.
Good evening.
Hello.
So for the calendar, we had on November 4th, we were canceled due to illness. And on February the 1st, we were canceled due to snow and ice. So therefore, the request to change the calendar, we had moved that student last day would be the 25th, closing day the 26th.
Any questions?
So our major change here is we're pushing our closing date back from the 23rd to the 25th. That's really the only change.
2 days that were canceled.
And every year, just so people, we have a minimum number of days and a minimum number of hours that we have to be in the classroom, and that's the reason we have to make those up. It's not just because. There's two requirements, days and hours.
And we are still out next Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had some
Yes.
questions about that.
We
That's
are.
why I asked.
Any other questions? If not, if I can get a motion then to approve the revised school calendar as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is what everybody's waiting on.
Oh, yeah.
To set the graduation dates, Mr. Muntz.
All right. So as you have just approved the revised calendar with students' last day being on the 25th, the request is first choice for schools who graduate is Madison Southern. So I'd like to choose Thursday at 7, and then Madison Central will be Friday at 7. And that weekend is Memorial Day weekend. And so then that allows for families to celebrate throughout that weekend as well.
So that's a big change.
It is a big
The
change.
Thursday is a big
the
change.
Thursday night and the Friday night. But I see the benefits of it, and the schools were involved in this decision. It's not just us willy-nilly saying, you're going to do it this date. They made these decisions.
So Southern was okay with the third, because they're the ones that are primarily affected differently, and they're fine.
Alternate each year, who
Right.
gets to go first, who gets to go second, so their choice is Thursday.
And they will be at alumni. I know I've had questions about that. This year, they will be at Alumni Coliseum, so. Any other questions? So if not, if I can get a motion then to set the graduation date of Thursday, May the 25th at 7 PM as the graduation date for Madison Southern High School, and Friday, May the 26th at 7 PM as the graduation date for Madison Central High School.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is item 8, our superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. We'll start out by echoing my appreciation for the Richmond Police Department, also our leadership and our staff at Glen Marshall Elementary on how they handled that situation today. We really appreciate all of their work. As for me, I've started my second round of principal evaluation site visits, seeing some great things out there in our schools and our classrooms. It seems like every time I do a superintendent report, I always mention how we have just wonderful people working in our schools with their kids. I'm going to say it again, we do. Really appreciate their effort, their care, their professionalism they bring to school every day to work for our kids. I'm so thankful for our people in our school system. At the district level, we have completed all of our departmental allocation and staffing meetings with our different departments. We'll be doing our second round of allocation meetings with schools very soon. And let's see, on February 13th, I had a good meeting with the Madison County Teacher Advisory Council, which is a group of teachers that I bring together. There's a representative from each school there, and we had a great meeting on February 13th. One of the things we talked about was teacher recruitment and retention. We're proud of our people in Madison County. We want to keep them around. So we appreciate them. Participated in the KDE Facilities Task Force meeting on February 16th. We think we're making some good headway there with facilities. We've seen some changes the last few years in terms of the processing. We're hoping to keep that up. And then I also mentioned today, ran down to Ignite South for just a few minutes. The Turkish consul was visiting Ignite South as part of the economic development effort in conjunction with the city of Berea, so we appreciate having those folks. We have done lots of tours across there between Ignite North and Ignite South. Lots of people have been in to see those facilities, to see the great things happening in those schools. So that's my superintendent report.
Comments from the board?
You were at our training, too.
I did do KSBA conference as well, and 2 or 3 other things that I did.
Right, I was just going to say, that's not everything that he does, right there.
Any comments? If not, then we'll move on to item number 10. We're going to enter into executive session to discuss future acquisition or sale of real property for which publicity would likely affect the value per KRS 61.8101B, and to discuss pending litigation for which disclosure would compromise posture per KRS 61.810.
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
A motion by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Ms. Cobb. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're in
Aye.
executive session. come out of executive session?
So move, I'll make that motion.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
So we have a few actions from our executive session. The first is a resolution authorizing acceptance of settlement of Jewel litigation on March the 9th, 2023, whereas the Madison County Board of Education previously authorized the Madison County School District to become a party in the class action litigation against Jewel Labs Incorporated, asserting damages from expenses of the district for preventative actions involving vaping, and whereas a settlement offer has been tendered that is acceptable to the district. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the proposed settlement offer is approved and that Beth Brock, Chair of the Board, is authorized to execute a release of any other appropriate document on behalf of the Madison County District to effectuate said settlement. So can I get a motion to approve settlement of the Jewel class action litigation?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next is a summary of the resolution authorizing litigation against social media companies. Whereas public schools, including the Madison County School Districts, have been significantly impacted and incurred significant expenses by the crisis from overexposure to social media, as school districts are a main provider of mental health services for school-aged children in Madison County. And whereas the Madison County Board of Education has determined that it is the responsibility to protect its students and to take legal action against social media companies to seek monetary damages for past, present, and future damages caused thereby, it is resolved that the authorizes attorney, Ronald Johnson, and his law firm, Hendy Johnson and Volve, to file a civil action against any appropriate party to compensate the district for the above stated damages. So I need a motion to authorize this resolution as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I need a motion to approve the BG1 for the purchase of 16 acres on Speedwell Road and Meadowbrook Road for the purpose of building an elementary school pending KDE approval in the amount of $39,500 per acre.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And now, if I could get a motion to adjourn.
I will do that.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.